Hello my friends and welcome. Let's go to the hottest spot on the front lines of Avdiivka. Ukraine decided to go massively on a counterattack, pushing Russian forces out from this territory behind the railroad, and probably we have the chance to propel towards Krasnogorovka based on the forces Ukraine is using right now over here. It is really serious. We have several of the attack vectors, even though Russia was successful in taking some of the territory over here recently, I think 3 days ago, but now they're forced to send their reinforcements over here to fight against the assaulting Ukrainian army. The interesting move from the Ukrainian side, because we know that we are in lack of the resources, but it seems like there is no other way to resist in this place rather than counterattack the Russian army. Those are the Russian soldiers in Avdiivka direction. They start to record some of the TikToks saying that from their group of 70 soldiers, in a few days only 12 left. They're showing the conditions in their trench and around, saying that artillery shells are falling very close to their positions, cutting all of the trees. They say that it will not last for them very long because artillery fire is very close and the enemy, so Ukrainian side, is also very close to them, and Ukraine has the attempts in reaching the positions nearby. They also say that they are in lack of the ammunition to stop the tanks. They don't have RPGs or something like that. What they have is the ammunition for AK-47 or 74, which they use. Plus some of the grenades, but my friends, it's just one spot in Avdiivka direction. There could be other trenches with more capable Russian forces. My friends, before we continue our review, and it will be very interesting because we're coming closer to the ambushment of the big Russian convoy. Absolutely superb achievement for Ukrainian side. But firstly, let me tell you about the sponsor and the long-term partner of my channel. It is the Atlas VPN, and what they have is the Christmas deal where you may get the Atlas VPN Premium for just $149 per month plus 12 months extra. This deal is valid just for my followers. It is your chance to get this premium VPN offer. So why do I use the Atlas VPN? It has military encryption standards, strongly securing your data and your devices from being reached by government, unwanted ads, and also hackers. I use the VPN all of the time, and for me personally, Atlas VPN is the best VPN out there. It has a security breach device monitoring feature, so it alerts me when someone tries to reach my device. Then I use the public Wi-Fi. Then I see that message, I disconnect from that public Wi-Fi. Atlas VPN is very fast. It guarantees you the best streaming connection, then you watch movies on Netflix. And also by changing your virtual location, you may get access to watch all of the movies, all of the series on Netflix platform. And now my friends, please go to the video description just below or scan the QR code available on the screen, where you may get the Atlas VPN Premium with astonishing Christmas discount, just $149 per month and 12 months extra. An absolutely great deal that is valid just for my subscribers, and also it is time limited. So what are you waiting for? Hurry up to join the club. And here we have the image showing the huge assault of Ukrainian army on this area. So definitely there is the counterattack. Ukraine used many of the armored vehicles, tanks, artillery, and lots of the air surveillance to understand the Russian positions. So hopefully we're gonna see the new military map update very soon in favor of Ukraine, at least on this direction. Russia also uses some of the tanks and even ballistic missiles to target the Ukrainian positions behind the front lines, but you see that Ukraine is overwhelmingly stronger in this assault compared to the Russian side. Also, Russians shared the information about the Ukrainian defense lines. It seems like finally, after all, Ukraine was able to make some of the defense lines with dots, with trenches and other stuff near to Stepova. It is awesome, because after all, with all of the reinforcements, Russia might try to reach Stepova and all of this area once again. Their goal is to occupy Avdiivka, to encircle it, till the elections time. They were not able to do it till 14th of December. So Putin announced that he is going for elections yesterday, because on 14th of December it is understandable that Russia would fail with their mission, but they have the new task, actually two of the tasks. One is to get Avdiivka under control, the other one is for Kupiansk, and we expect the Russian assault intensified in those two areas. Because Russia is unsuccessful in taking Stepovo, the nearby village over here, they tried the other direction in this place from Vesela across the lake, taking the ground, unfortunately. Let's zoom into the place to check out the advancement of the Russian army. Yes, it's small, but still it is happening over there. So for the single day, they were able to propel for this small distance, but yesterday, as I showed you already, they took the part of this small cottage place, we call it dachi, where usually people live during the summertime, close to the lake. On the 3D map you may find it over here, so Russians took this part of the cottage place, which is quite big as for Avdiivka, here and over here too. Russians have two of the attack directions in this area, one straightforward from this place. Here I don't think that they can move with their tanks because of the terrain, but here if they cross this field they are able to use the tanks. And again Ukraine tries to repel the Russian attack. So far Russians were quite successful in taking the ground in this area, but still they're far in reaching their goal. The main goal is to move to the industrial part of Avdiivka to cut the supplies for Ukraine, but Russia uses artillery and aviation bombs on the factory. At least they showed this video today on their sources, and I may confirm that it is that exact factory in Avdiivka. As you can see, it's on smoke, it's on fire, because there are some of the Ukrainian positions in this place. Unfortunately, this thing is getting bombed day by day. Alright, let's go to Krynky, the Kherson Oblast, where Russia tried to perform their counteroffensive towards Ukrainian positions. For Russia, this area is the big problem because it's still under Ukrainian control. They tried to use aviation bombs, they tried to use artillery, but it didn't help. So today they concentrated lots of the forces and sent them using this road to the place. So what happened to the Russian attack? Probably you already understand that they were totally ambushed. Yes, Ukraine used artillery on the other part of the Dnieper River shore to target the Russian positions. The range is acceptable for that. Also, our guys in the place have many of the FPV drones. And let's check the result of today's Russian attack on Krynky. The first image goes for the Russian T-72 tank with V or foul letter on the side. The frontal damage and damage to the caterpillar, it is gone. The tank was abandoned. This is the other tank if you see, so one tank and this is the other one, because the caterpillar is okay, but this tank was abandoned too. BTR, something went wrong with it, it's on fire. One more BTR, smoking. The Russian BMP 3 or 2, it's hard to say, it lost the roof and everything inside. BTR 82, I think, heavy smoker. Well, here's just a puzzle, you will find out, then you put everything together. One more T-72 smoker, black edition. BTR 80, I think, with no visible damage from the top, but it hit the mine, I believe, based on the traces and the oil leak from the bottom. One more T-72, 4 drift edition. As you can see, it was drifting on this spot but got fire. As you can see, Russia today used lots of the forces in attempt to get their lost territories back, but they were totally ambushed. Sending that amount of the forces in a single attack is total madness in a modern day war, as I already told you. It's better to assault with small groups, maximum 2-3 vehicles and some infantry. But Russians are just going straight forward in their attacks because they're desperate in getting Krynky back, because for them Krynky bridgehead of Ukraine is the great threat, because it could evolve into the future big offensive of Ukrainian side. As you can see, all of the Russian T-72 tanks have the armor on the top, the extra armor for the anti-drone protection, but it didn't help. Mostly it helps against the drone bombing, not against the FPV drones, because FPV drones may just fly everywhere to the tank spot and may find a place in between this armor to actually target turret. Well, sometimes this tool helps, but not in this case. Alright, now let's go to not a good news for Ukraine, because there is the Russian assault from Novoprokopivka towards Robotyne. Ukraine has many of the attempts in reaching Novoprokopivka. Just yesterday Ukraine started the attack towards Novoprokopivka. At the same time Russia started their assault over here, but Ukraine was able to cut this Russian attack. Well, today Russia used the situation to start attacking from Novoprokopivka with more reinforcements using the paratroop divisions, etc. And finally they got the ground over here. Let's check out the timeline. Yesterday and today, unfortunately, Russia took this field under control together with a part of the road. So this is Novoprokopivka and this is Robotyne, and this place was taken by the Russian army. There is no significant elevation difference between Robotyne and Novoprokopivka. Yes, Russia is on a higher ground, just a little over here, and probably today they reached their previously lost trenches in this area. The fight was very strong for those trenches. The Ukrainian army was able to get them under control, but now Russia performs their assault towards Robotyne, unfortunately. But from what I know, Ukraine finally was able to build the trenches to defend Robotyne right after we understood that the counteroffensive of Ukrainian army stalled in this place, so it's better to concentrate on defense right now. Hopefully then the new military help is approved, we're gonna move forward taking Novoprokopivka at least. So in general, on the south, Russia has the vector of attack towards Robotyne, and over here also from Verbova. Now Russian army wants to take the initiative in this area too, and this is the move of the Russian army. They took quite a lot of the territory, and here unfortunately as well. So after all, the Russian attack from the side was more or less successful, and Ukraine tries to stop the Russian positions. As you can see, Russians haven't reached the trenches that they lost yet. One more place where Russia has some certain achievements is near to the Bakhmut area. Today they propelled towards Bogdanovka a little, so let's go to the timeline. It was yesterday and unfortunately it is today. They've took this part of the river, the part of the lake, and the part of the tree line. In this area Russia has the main vector advancing to Kromova. They took the most part of this village under their control, and now they have one more assault towards Bogdanovka. Bogdanovka is the very long village over here, so for Russia it's not going to be the easy walk in this place. So this is Bogdanovka. Let's zoom into the place. You may see that it's located in some certain valley of this river, so for Russia it's actually not easy way to advance, because here we see more higher ground compared to that place with the lakes. That is why Ukraine still has the advantage in terrain defending this village. It's good. And there is one more place not far away from Solidar where Russia just cancelled the previous achievements of Ukrainian army. So it was yesterday Ukraine tried the assaults lots of the months ago to reach this ground to deflect the Russian forces, but today, as you can see, Russia went on attack, taking their positions back. It's bad actually, because we lost lots of the ground here. Yet there is no update from the 3D map. Still Ukraine controls this territory, but we know that Russia already took this area under control, because I trust the deep state military map resource. If they came out with updates, 99% that they are truthful. So this area is kind of flat over here, and Ukraine lost it, unfortunately. There are no any settlements, no any villages, nothing but the tree lines and the fields. And potentially Russia may advance to Rozdolovka village, unfortunately. Briefly about the situation in Marinka, Russia performs their attacks, still incapable to get Marinka under full control, and Ukraine has even the assault vector. So Ukraine controls this part of Marinka, but Russia announced 1 week ago that they took full Marinka under their control, which is fake. Russia has lost their oil depot in occupied Avdiivka. There was the big kaboom with the fire in this area. The oil facility was the largest one in this region, so we expect the Russian assaults to slow down a little because of the logistics problem. Again, the Russian Buk air defense system was targeted with the help of the drones. For the last 2 weeks, Russia lost more than 10 of the air defense systems across the front lines. They want to compensate the loss in S-300 and S-400 systems using the middle-range air defense like Buk or Tor, but many of those systems are found out by the Ukrainian surveillance and later on targeted with the help of the HIMARS or drones. There is the report in the Russian channels that one of their military pilots was shot in Voronezh city. The call sign of the pilot is Bass. They've reported that he covered 3 children with himself and now in serious condition in hospital. Yet we're out of clue of who is this pilot, what he flies, like helicopter or the airplane. Well, actually I have the childhood friend who became the military helicopter pilot, unfortunately for the Russian side. He moved to Russia, then he was young, and he's from this city, from Voronezh. But I don't have the connection with him because Russia started a full-scale war and he is in military, so it's not appropriate for me to continue the friendship, so basically I cancelled everything with him. Our guys found some of the papers on the Russian positions. Judging on those, we may say about the Russian losses in this storm squad, as they say, or the assault squad. So here you have the name and surname of the soldiers. Here are their nicknames for the radio communication. And here is their status. So 200 means lost, 300 means wounded. And this is LN, which means личный номер, the private number of every of the soldier. And this is the rank. Most of them are privates, just few of the officers. By the way, this officer is 300, which means wounded. Totally in this list there are 170 soldiers, from which 50 are KA or wounded, so 200 or 300. Plus 15 of the soldiers left their positions without any notice of the military command, so they are now deserters or running somewhere. It means that 30% of all of the personnel from this list is unable to perform their duties. And yet we are out of clue of where exactly this list was found, because at some of the directions, as I say to you, Russia has tremendous losses. If we speak only about Avdiivka, since the start of the Russian assault towards the place, they've lost 311 vehicles, Ukraine lost 23. I think that more or less the same ratio goes for the infantry forces. Russia is losing lots of the tanks, that is why they install some sort of the electronic warfare on their armored vehicles, but they do not help because this is the footage from the FPV drone and it hit the tank with this thing on the top, so sometimes it's just not working properly. One more country will join the blockade of the Ukrainian borders with EU, and it is Hungary. Wow, unbelievable. So Polish activists are blocking the border, Slovakia is partially blocking the border, and this time Hungary. I personally know that because of this blockade, many of the Ukrainian soldiers do not get the proper equipment that they need right now to defend Ukraine. I understand that some of the people who support that shit will find many of the arguments saying that Ukraine is wrong and this blockade is the proper way out. But my answer is just get lost. We need the supplies. That's it. Go and do your business. Unblock the border because we need our supplies. Humanitarian help is also blocked over there. I spoke with volunteers, the tracks being blocked. It's the fact. Yes, there was some term agreement to unblock one of the checkpoints with the Polish border, but it is not working from what I understood. It seems like the national governments of Poland, Slovakia and Hungary are not interested in to get rid of those protesters, Actually, by not doing anything, they support the protesters. That's why the European Commission will act on this issue. They already called to unblock the borders with the proper action. Otherwise, they might provide some of the sanctions. The Ukrainian defense minister announced some of the actions that will be conducted in Crimea next year that will help Russians to leave that territory. I wonder what those actions are. Maybe those are to cut the Kerch connection, after all, with some of the weaponry and continue to target the Russian bases over there. Okay guys, it seems like some of the videos start to appear from the Krynky with a failed Russian assault. I will publish some of those on my Telegram channel. I was just scrolling through them and I am unable to publish them on this platform, unfortunately. The Telegram channel you may find in the video description just below. Some of the aviation news: Ukraine will soon make a request for decommissioned Australian FA-18 fighter jets after an agreement of their transfer to an American company lapsed. Australian Financial Review. So probably we're gonna have those decommissioned airplanes from Australia, and after some of the maintenance they could go to Ukrainian army. Probably. From what I understood, the transition from the F-16 to F-18 is not that huge. The cockpit is very similar. Also, the talks are ongoing about the Swedish Gripen fighter jets. Probably Ukraine will obtain them as well, but maybe not the next year, because as you see, it takes lots of the time for the training and for establishing the logistic chain. What we received now is the Luna NG German-made drone system. It is quite big. The takeoff weight is 100 kilograms. It may fly for 12 hours consecutive. It may perform surveillance mission as well as to drop something. The interesting thing is that this drone is the brand new system, was presented last year and already was supplied for Ukraine. So Ukraine has the chance to test this drone in real conditions. My friends, don't forget to press the like to this video, and also please check out my personal link in the video description just below, where you may find the Atlas VPN Premium with a huge Christmas discount. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.